to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in. It's big game time. Yeah. Thursday, February 5th. We are recording in the morning, record release day. So we are, it didn't come out at 2 a.m. or whatever it's been doing in this off season. Sorry to the 2 a.m. crowd.
Yeah, sorry.
They're always
Graveyard
very
shift people.
happy when they get the 2 a.m. update. I don't know why they're awake. But we're here.
So they're working security.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's quiet, and they just need a podcast to watch / listen to.
Yep.
We have a great show for you today. We have our final truth episode talking about the top 10 tight ends. I have a couple of things I want to ask you guys about them.
That's good.
We have the fantasy face-off,
I don't
our
really
last
have anything
one
to say about them, so that's a
of
problem.
the season. I mean, I don't always ask you a question. Sometimes you just say stuff.
Okay.
We have the entire Deucer's Alley crew here in the building. No one currently in the restroom for the time being.
Jeremy with his safety running shirt on, just in case he's running at night.
I did want to bring
My
this.
goodness.
I wanted to bring this up.
I like it,
because,
Jer. It's
yeah,
good stuff.
When
Thank
he
you.
walked in, I saw him, and what I mean is he was a mile away.
Yeah.
But
Do you have your sunglasses on, I hope?
like Jason, when you went from like fat to fit,
Yeah.
fat to
You
fit.
can go fat to
I
less
was
fat.
trying to decide. You are the gradient, right? Like you always wore black shirts.
Right.
Then you moved into like dark navy,
Navies.
and now you're looking
some maroon.
but still darker hues.
Oh, absolutely.
And Al is very famously a black clothing guy. I sounds like I'm calling.
Well, he
him.
was fat.
What I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
I really thought you were going to say he's famously fat. I was like, oh
man.
wow.
I can't-
Oh, wow.
You fat.
I can't tell you how much I didn't mean for this to happen.
Oh, you walked right
I
into
just
that.
wanted to
Anyways,
bring up-
keep going. Talk
He-
about how fat he is.
No, he goes from like all black outfits to like Jimmy Buffett
Yeah.
all the time. He's always got like a very like.
he must have a cruise plane.
No, I can tell you why this happened.
I do.
I can
Yeah.
tell-
Is that what it is?
It started from
Yeah.
a cruise for sure, because this man, no matter what, even when he was in our collective big boy days, whenever he went on a cruise, he would go and get the wildest, brightest,
complicated patterns.
complicated patterns.
The most
You
complicated.
have no idea how expensive. And he would wear those on the cruise ship. And I think one of the times he was on a cruise, he goes, I think I just look better in these, which you probably do. And I'm proud of you. I like you in bright.
I love it. And when he plays pickleball, he's always got really cool shirts for pickleball as well. This was all meant to be complimentary, and it really walked into a fantastically fat joke, and
Yeah.
that's not what it was.
Famously fat.
Yeah. Please.
Not fantastically.
No, it wasn't fantastic.
I did it again.
Infamously.
I did it again.
You fat.
Oh, man. Welcome into the podcast. I love my producers so much. Big day on.
Really have
Sometimes,
to
like,
go with the big day?
Oh, come on.
the Andy has sometimes the words come out faster than
Yeah, I've got coffee.
then his brain is like, I know exactly where this is going, but it's like the words are already out.
Yeah.
And then you catch up. You're like, oh,
You're darn right. You're darn right.
oh.
But we're moving on. Well, this is our last show before the big game. And the big game is our way. I mean, we have them put that on to celebrate the Ultimate Draft Kit pre-order day. So that'll be available. UltimateDraftKit.com on Sunday. If you're on the newsletter, you'll get an email about it. You can pay attention to social media. The Falcon will have stuff out there.
You can start getting hyped on all these rookies. If you get the UDK Plus, the Dynasty Pass, the first release is on Super Bowl Sunday. So while you're waiting for football to happen, you can get in there, look at the team opportunity pages, look at the the lay of the land on the rookies, our Dynasty startup rankings. All that will be available Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fun. UltimateDraftKit.com. We've done a lot of work. There's new features coming, a fully refreshed like visual on the app, and it's going to be a blast. You can follow us on social media, by the way, on X at the FF Ballers, Instagram.com/fantasyfootballers. I encourage you to do that. No quick question today, but we'll jump right into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I just
Mike is grabbing
realized
for a
what I
deck
got to
of
do,
cards.
guys.
The Giants, if you're watching on YouTube, the Giants hired
Ready?
former Chiefs offensive coordinator
Yeah!
Matt Nagy.
The Bunch of Magician's back, baby.
Now, here's what's...
He's got a new job.
Mike just
I mean, he's not that he was gone, but he's really back now.
Mike playing some 52-card pickup here in the
More
the
like
studio.
maybe like a 23.
So here's the deal. I want to let people know what happened. We have a company Slack channel that shares the breaking news. We have kind of a ridiculous policy. Like we're always eager to break the news.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's paying attention to the whatever's going on social media. And if you break the news and then you break the news like you double up on the news.
If you post anything in Slack that had already been posted, you get body bag.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like a shameful thing to do.
Yeah.
Like but what happened
Join
is
Davy Jones.
the other day we got a report, and Mike is incredibly into Jackson Dart.
Yes.
A believer, collecting all of his cards.
Mm-hmm.
And,
my money is
and for good
where my
reason.
mouth is.
For good reason, right? Like we have a lot of expectations. Harbaugh, Neighbors coming back, Scattaboo. Jackson Dart was already a fantasy darling during the games he played, the majority of them. And so we get this news that Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the next OC of the Giants. And Mike he's riding high.
Oh,
he's riding a wave.
You got Kyler's rookie and sophomore season that was outstanding with Cliff Kingsbury, the mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes to Jaden Daniels, rocks the world with Jaden Daniels, his rookie season, mobile quarterback. Jackson Dart with Cliff, that is fantasy gold. That's NFL success. That's great.
I believe Mike said, "Oh, baby."
Yes. It was in all caps, so it was
Yeah.
more like an "oh baby."
But
That's-
that
yes.
was shared by a buffoon and was not true.
Like, hey, if you're online and you're in sports and you're trying to get into the breaking news game, have some sources. And your sources don't just be randos on the internet where you're like, oh, this is being reported. Well, I'm going to get out in front of it. Like, you should have people you talk to.
So from a emotional perspective, Mike, Matt Nagy is the opposite of how you felt about Cliff Kingsbury?
That dude. How these guys keep getting jobs? I have no idea.
Well, he's the offensive coordinator. So are you
Cool.
Are you nerfing your Jackson Dart excitement, or are you
I think that he can rise above.
you're trusting that head coach Matt Nagy was the real problem?
No, offensive coordinator Matt Nagy is also a problem.
Yeah, he wasn't that great. I mean, even if you look at the Patrick Mahomes days and some of the metrics of what Mahomes was already doing and then what he continued to do with Nagy, Nagy obviously
Why is
had
he
success
not
and had-
still the OC in Kansas?
right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they were like, ugh.
His contract was up
Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't
Why
they be
didn't
like,
they
we
bring him
can't
back?
lose this guy?
because they had a chance to get the famous Eric Bieniemy
Yeah.
back.
I feel
Look,
like that speaks loudly.
So maybe we don't have the we'll have our coaching changes episode and we'll talk about it, but maybe we don't have the excitement we thought we were going to have.
It was a bummer.
The Jets hired former Panthers head coach Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator.
Future second half of the season head coach
Yep.
Frank Reich.
Yeah.
I mean, he was out of the NFL. He was at Stanford. He had a awful year in Carolina
Now, it's like
for 15 minutes and 15 games.
so last year it did not work out for Coach Glenn. I would assume that Coach Glenn is like a smart guy. I mean, you can't at least get these opportunities if you're just a complete dum-dum. It didn't work out, him being a head coach, and he has to know, or he has to at least have the thought process when he's hiring these guys, like, I might get fired halfway through this year. I know how the NFL works, and when you have the complete lack of success that I had in my first year, if you start out that way in year two, often you see those guys fired. It's like, that's got to be a strange mental exercise of when you're hiring an OC like Reich, who has head coaching experience,
Mhm.
like,
There's
oh
no-
boy. Oh boy.
To be honest with you, there's just no forward thinking needed. When you are
Right.
playing for your job, you are playing for the next moment on the clock. and that's all he thinks about.
I'm not saying avoid it. I'm saying that the thought has to have crossed his mind.
The Cardinals hired former Jets offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett because the Cardinals would like multiple offensive coordinators of the Jets.
What are we doing?
Do you realize that's what we've done?
Yes.
We've hired 2 offensive coordinators from the Jets. Nathaniel Hackett will be the offensive coordinator, but in a wink-wink kind of way because Mike LaFleur will call the plays.
Yeah, I hate this as a Cardinals
This is another
fan.
one like you're like they just keep getting jobs.
Exactly.
Hackett, Nagy.
I mean, Hackett is if you coached a Hall of Fame, a first ballot-ish Hall of Fame quarterback, you can ride that for so long. I mean,
there's a lot of respect for play. There's a lot of respect for coaches that we don't have respect for.
Right, and I don't know how to put properly into words that if Aaron Rodgers were to be the Arizona Cardinals quarterback this next year,
Oh no,
because of the connection with
no,
Nathaniel Hackett, peace. I am out. OUT out. I will be doing a whole new search for a new team. I might.
Are you going to put out like?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wanted
like,
ads.
Are you getting a recruiter like you would
for
a
sure?
job? Like
I'm going to go hardcore into this. I'm going to look at the ownership structure of all the franchises because that's what I want. I don't want quarterback. I don't want head coach. I want ownership that is functional, competent, and quality.
Can I put this out there into the universe? If you start looking for a new team, I want these new teams, the fans of these new teams, to know one thing: Jason doesn't know how to root for you, or how to root in general. So it might be a confusing situation.
If like, I am okay if the job of Nathaniel Hackett is LaFleur is like, here's the game plan. He's like, that's great, coach. I love it. And he's like,
a yes man.
Yeah, he's like,
we want him to be a yes man.
You know what? This hey, we just ran these 2 plays. I got these new these next 2 in line. And he's like, that's incredible, coach. Get him in there.
You realize there were 21 offensive coordinator jobs this offseason? There are 32
insane.
Teams.
That's insane.
21 of them, and 17 of the 21 have been filled. The Raiders, Bears, Rams, and Seahawks. Like, obviously, the Seahawks will need to fill after Kubiak goes to become the Raiders head coach.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, 21 of 32.
Hackett,
it's almost like only one team wins the Super Bowl.
Right. Hackett as the OC, I obviously we didn't like him as a head coach. There's hope that maybe he's a better OC than a head coach. Okay, but the nice thing here is that he is not the play caller. He is hopefully just an offensive manager, assistant to the actual head coach, who is the offensive guru in Mike LaFleur.
Well, we're going to jump right in, I think. We are through the news. We've got a big game coming up. We've got some rosters. I am going to get shamed today, so we might as well get into the truth.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
All right, we have talked about every other position. We are arriving at the truth of the tight end position. Maybe the toughest pill to swallow for some fantasy managers. The truth of the tight end position is it's a hard truth. It really is. Jason's talked about it before. I believe a quote from Jason is, well, about the first 5 or 6 tight ends, they matter, and none of the others matter, and they suck.
Yeah, they suck. Once you get to – I mean, I remember years ago, Trey Boo-Boo. Yeah.
Trey Burton.
I couldn't even remember his name. I just remember Trey Boo-Boo. Trey Burton was a My Guy.
I'm glad you brought it up.
That year when he was a My Guy, he finished as the tight end 7. So you can hang your hat on that and be like,
baby, top 7.
Dude, top 7. The dude sucked. The whole year he was worthless, and he finishes the tight end 7. That's irrelevant. The whole, like, tight ends that finishes a tight end 1. We do this with the quarterbacks, right? Quarterbacks every year, there's like 40-something quarterbacks that finish a week as a tight end 1. This year there were 64 tight ends that finished as a tight end 1 on 32 teams.
On any given week, 64 different tight ends had a top 12 week, which meant that you had about 58 chances to be like, oh, maybe there'll be something.
Yeah.
Can we just change the verbiage of a tight end 1 is a top 6 tight end?
That would help so much.
It really would.
And if you're a tight end 2, that means you're at 7 or lower.
Here's one of the things I was going to ask you.
I'm with you. Like if you finish there, that means that you had a couple spike weeks.
We should really do that. Like
It will confuse so many people.
It will confuse us. but
Well,
it
here's
will
the
be
thing.
more accurate.
Here's the thing. I want to ask you your opinion on this. If there are 64 tight ends that finish inside the top 12,
Yes, top 12. That's fine.
and okay, so that's 24, 25 more than the quarterback position, which is already a streaming position for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair to say that, like, outside of the top 5 or 6 names, this is maybe more similar to picking a kicker than anything else?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are good arguments that I've seen to get rid of the tight end position. I don't like that, but tight ends still matter. Tight ends are a difference maker at the top. You know, when you've got those Trey McBride and George Kittle, RIP.
The injuries really derailed the position.
There's a lot of fun draft strategy around the position. But the truth is, as we joke about 64 tight ends finishing, in the top 12, it is also true that so many of those, like when we talk about with the quarterback, when you finish in the top 12 at quarterback, you legit had a good week. You had a good fantasy finish. So many of these 64, they finished tight end 10 on the week and they scored, 7 points, 6 points?
They caught a 5-yard touchdown and they're in the top 12.
Yeah, this entire discussion, to me at least personally, is not to make the tight end position seem less exciting or important or fun. I think the tight end position has been incredibly fun for going on 3 years of rookies making breakout performances, from Laporta to Bowers to this year with Loveland and Warren and Fannin. It's exciting and it's fun. It's just to say, let us all make a vow here on the show when we are trying to prove our point to one another and seem right, that if we decide to throw out he was a top 12 tight end,
that will no longer be accepted.
it will no longer be accepted, and you will have to.
I love that.
You will be shamed.
You'll be called
We're
out about
men
it.
of honor, and we should call each other out on such nonsense.
Yeah, and we will definitely say it
Oh, for sure.
at some point in time when I need
Probably this episode.
when I need to prove something to you. Probably this episode.
I'm going to do it on purpose to see if either of you catch me.
Okay.
We might be too used to it. We have seen 12 personnel sets increase over the last 4 seasons, from 17 to 19 to 20 to 22%,
It's how they're changing. It's how they're counteracting the new defensive schemes. This is what the NFL does. Is someone figures something out,
tit for tat.
everyone starts copying it because it works incredibly, and then the defenses have to adjust, and then we'll eventually find a new meta.
Total fantasy points scored by the tight end position because of that, in part, higher than ever before in 2025. Mike, you just shared a ridiculous Trey McBride number. That's who we're going to start with today. By the way, our metrics for great games, when we look at consistency, great games are going to be 15 or more points for the tight end position. Good games, 8 or more points, Jason, and then bust games, fewer than 5.5 points.
Yep.
But we'll start with Trey McBride. Trey McBride is a very good football player.
Yes, he is.
Number one in consistency, number 1 in the first half, number 1 in the second half. The gap between Trey McBride and the rest. Is this the most that you can remember since the great Kelce years type of situation?
Yeah, for sure.
that seems like
Because in part because the number 2 tight ends got injured this year. You had George Kittle, who was fire when he was on the field, but wasn't on the field for a lot of it. He lapped the competition.
Trey McBride, according to, this is a Jared Smola tweet. Shout out to Jared. Trey McBride ran 118 more routes than any other tight end last season. That is a bigger gap than the number 2 and number 9 tight end
in routes run.
Yeah,
I think I really wanted to make sure that got brought up, because the truth about Trey McBride is actually difficult, because the truth is he's elite. He is possibly the best pass-catching tight end in the NFL. He's one of the highest paid. He might be the highest paid still. I don't remember. And he dominated. If you had him on your team, he really carried you. But, Jason, like your argument when we're talking about Michael Wilson, you have to – you can't just be like, oh, my gosh, tight end 1, 3, 3. He's like, this dude's just carrying me. 118 more routes, because the Arizona Cardinals were throwing the ball on every down. They had no semblance of a running game. So not that Trey McBride, draft him as the number 1 tight end next year, but I bet that this is going to put him into the first round. and people are going to be like, I got to get him. It's like the new Kelce where he outscores. Kyle just shared. He outscored the tight end 2 by more than 5 points a game. Like, that is a difference maker who is worthy of the first round.
If you were actually going to get that.
But will you get that level of separation again? That seems unlikely.
Well, and double-digit touchdowns, 11 touchdowns on top of the fact that you had those extra routes and targets.
Not only 11 touchdowns, but if you look at the year prior in 2024, in the red zone, Trey McBride had 21 targets. 21 targets. It turned into 1 touchdown.
These are Murray targets.
They were Murray targets, but this year 33 turned into 11 touchdowns. This is like that. There is some meat in the middle that's going to come, and we don't know who the quarterback is.
Higgins?
Elijah?
Oh, meat.
No.
Meat. It's a meat joke, Jay. I love it.
I missed it. It was so good. But to just illustrate kind of the passing volume, when Jacoby Brissett came in, the defense was decimated, and they threw the ball basically every play. Jacoby Brissett in his starts was on pace for 700 passing attempts. That's not happening. That would be over 41 passing attempts a game on average. If you look at like super offensive teams, the Rams this year, 35 passing attempts on average. Detroit, 34. Like that. It's going to come down. The routes run will come down. The touchdowns will come down.
Well, you don't break all-time records.
It was the most routes for a tight end of all time.
And it's all-time record for targets, all-time record for receptions. So he broke a bunch of records, but he's really, really good.
Yes.
And even when those numbers come down, the pure volume numbers, he still has enough to stand alone as the number 1 again next year.
Sure.
It's just your draft cost. I mean, 41% great games is insane. 41% of the time, 15 or more points. 88% good games. That's insane. And it wasn't only against bad defenses. The Cardinals played all sorts of teams, obviously, and he had the same production against all of them. So he does stand alone. Another point would be that Marvin missed a lot of time in the back half of the season on top of it.
A lot went right for Trey McBride, who, again, I can't imagine he's not my number 1 tight end going into next season.
But he's not a first-rounder for you?
But to draft him in the first round, so much has to go right.
It is one of those, because of what we talked about at the tight end position. It's an advantage that is marked every week between you and your opponent. Because it's not just the gap between him and the other tight ends. It's also just like the difference maker on a regular basis for your team, to know that you have the guaranteed production coming there, to take chances on higher-end players at other positions. We've seen it. There are a lot of advantages when the Gronkowskis dominate, when the Kelces dominate, and you've got them on your team. And at the end of the day, regardless of those numbers, when an Arizona quarterback of any kind, whether it's Malik Willis, whether it's Cousins or Rodgers or Kyler's back, when they drop back to pass, the best decision that they can make is Trey McBride over Michael Wilson or Marvin Harrison Jr. But there will be more balance. There will be more balance to an offense that finally gets a running back into the backfield.
It feels like in the second round is where he should belong, whether or not he ends there. Because even if he doesn't lap the field like this year, you're not whiffing on a pick. He's not going to bust. Anybody can get injured, but he's not going to. Running backs and wide receivers, I think, are easy to just have a bad year where, Saquon's, not great for the pick. Justin Jefferson's quarterback play is bad or whatever. But Trey McBride at that position, he doesn't even have to be as good as he is to still be as good as he was this last year to be a very good pick in fantasy.
It's so early. I will be so curious to see where he goes, because I think questions like Jefferson versus McBride are going to be the question, or Neighbors and those players. And I don't think very many of us are actually going to pick that wide receiver chance.
No, I wouldn't.
I know.
Yeah,
that'll be crazy. All right, he stands alone atop the tight end position. So we will.
You can't wait to hear who number 2 was.
So we will take a break and reveal number 2. I didn't realize it until just now.
Yeah, we did it, guys.
It's Kyle.
Year 5 breakout.
It's Kyle Pitts. Now, this is what a truth episode.
Year 5 couple week breakout.
Tight end 2, young, stud, free agent on the open market, drafted top 10 in the NFL.
He's going to
finish number 2, and he does.
This is why we do truth episodes. because Kyle Pitts came in at number 2, but his consistency rank was 7, and it was 11 and 10 for the first and second half. He had a really nice week 15.
He had so many points that week. In fact, he had the most points of any tight end in the history of fantasy football in a single week, and that really skews his season-long ranking. I think if even skewing his season-long ranking, I think it's important to look at points per game, which are equally skewed by that single game, but points per game add back in the other guys that were injured that might not be in this list in order, like Tucker Kraft, George Kittle, Brock Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
They were better. They just didn't finish number 2 because they lost games.
Yeah, Pitts, what do you think happens?
I think he gets a bag.
I think he gets a big bag of money.
Does that make him a focal point on a new roster?
Yes, probably. I don't think someone's going to bring him in and pay him a lot of money unless they're saying that they have a plan to integrate him into an offense. This is an exceptionally weak free agent class for wide receivers. And I think if you're a general manager and you're saying we need a wide receiver too, that's the type of team. And that's what actually excites me about him going to the free agent market is the fact
he
that
can still get franchised.
Sure, he could be franchised. He could also sign back with the Falcons. That's a team that needs a wide receiver too if he's gone.
I was going to say, they're a team that I can't imagine you want to put Michael Penix in a position to have less or have fewer weapons than he had last year.
But, I mean, he will be an important passing option for whatever team he lands on. However, he was an important passing option on the team he was currently on, and, you know, he was okay at best.
He was good when Drake London was gone. So, like, week 1, he had 9.4 points. Week 4 was a good week. That was 15. But then the other games that are good are Drake London was out. Like, week 8. Hey, guess who showed up again? Kyle Pitts. Then weeks 12 through 15, that was Kyle Pitts' time. Now, week 16 was also good against Arizona, but, I mean, that's Drake London's first game back after the injury. He is terrifying for fantasy football.
Always has been, always will be.
And I think that
you can make the argument for him.
Yes,
that's the problem with Kyle Pitts. Until he turns 30, you're going to make some argument for him.
We can all be talked back into Kyle Pitts after this season.
Did you know?
Because he's only 25.
That's
always the reason.
That in 11 years, his senior, Travis Kelce, was number 3.
Yeah, the tight end top 10 is pretty weird.
You think people are turning the show off?
I think they're just waiting.
No way, man.
They're just waiting.
Quick, look at this shirt.
Yeah. Avoid your eyes. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Hey, family show.
Yeah, come on. Don't take your clothes off.
Man.
Goodness.
It's just his jacket.
I know, but felt like he was showing us
his shirt.
Dim shirts.
Oh, man.
Travis Kelce out here in the Valley playing golf right about now.
We're going to get a resignation letter here today.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce
you look
at 3
good.
is...
You look good, Al.
Yeah,
you look good.
Thanks.
Kelce at
Al's
3
been
is
dropping weight like
shocking.
Bitcoin's dropping value.
Ooh,
yeah, that's true.
It's good and bad.
Kelce's 36 years old, somehow number 3, 7th in consistency in the first half, 14th in the second half, 8th overall. 18% great games is your number 3 overall tight end, which did I give those numbers for Kyle Pitts? 18% great games for Kyle Pitts. So just look at that. 44% from McBride to 18% for the next man up. 53% good games for both Kelce and Pitts. You know, it was he was a stabilizing tight end for your team. You could put him out there and know that you're going to get production when you have 850 yards receiving and, you know, probably lower than expected numbers in terms of touchdowns. I mean, the career's winding down for Travis Kelce. Do I think he's going to come back? I actually do. I think he'll probably be back for another year. He's got a little Favre in him.
Yeah, he might. At the end of the season, the way that he was speaking about the Mahomes injury, it felt like he wasn't going to come back. Right now, the vibes seem like it's certainly at least 50-50. Do I want him to come back?
Do you want the year of dealing with Kelce decision making?
I do not want him to come back. I think that the opportunity for other pass catchers there would be great if he walks away. And I don't know, he'll be playing at 36 this coming season. I still won't be confident in playing him. I know he's the tight end 3, but it's very similar to Kyle Pitts. He played 17 games.
You'd rather have
accumulated more. I'd rather have a ton of guys than if Travis Kelce is back next year, he'll probably be around my tight end 9 or 10. Which that's a tight end 1.
Oh, hey, get the water bottle out. No, but what I was actually going to say is you'd rather have the conversation about who's going to be the next man up for Mahomes than saying where does Kelce fit into this puzzle that is still getting figured out.
Yeah. I want reminder: Patrick Mahomes tore his left ACL in Week 15.
Lindsey Vonn wouldn't care.
Well,
did you see Lindsey Vonn working out
on
video?
With the ruptured?
She ruptured her entire
and a meniscus.
Yes.
What is
either she is.
Tell me rupture versus tear.
I feel like it means there was an explosion.
That's the only thing it can mean.
There was some sort of explosion.
One is like imagine ripping, right?
Yeah.
You rip a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Now rupture that piece of paper.
Now imagine. Yeah, exactly. You blew it up. You destroyed it with a gust of air that just exploded that paper. That's what happened.
So her ACL's in thousands. Her ACL's in thousands of pieces inside her knee.
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
And she's gonna play. She's gonna be in the Olympics. Which, by the way, from what I've seen from skiing, and I'm just a layman, I've never really skied, but it seems your knees are involved.
Yeah,
I do believe they use the knees.
But
now, if she was one of those straight down and then you go off the ramp and you launch for like
ski jump,
a ski jumper, if you did that, I see no ACL being needed because it's a straight line. But it seems like the other skiers really use them.
Yeah. I'll bet she's used them before.
Apparently she's going to give it a go.
Go watch the workout video. A week ago, she blew her knee up, and now she's like,
that's wild.
It's amazing.
So for Travis Kelce, I want.
How did we start talking about that?
Because I was reminding people that Mahomes tore his ACL in Week 15, which timeline means being ready for Week 1 will be sketchy. Now, with the way the NFL works, I would probably expect Mahomes to be there in Week 1. However, if he's not, whatever week he shows up, I want it to be like they have to hide it. It's a full secret. It's like Week 3, hey, Mahomes starts, and then boom,
dude,
Travis Kelce just comes out the locker room with Patrick Mahomes.
They should draft Dylan Raiola to be able to be like the placeholder Mahomes for the first couple weeks.
Oh, the guy who emulates everything he does.
I think he's in college still. By the way, my rankings go right now. They go McBride, then I would go Vaughn. Then I would move on to
Kelce.
Kittle or something. Dallas Goedert was number 4. What is this show?
That's what I'm saying.
To be fair, Dallas Goedert.
Look at this shirt again. This is more entertaining.
Yeah, the tight ends.
I'm sorry,
I say
everyone.
it all the time. Tight ends suck. We really should be doing this in order of like points per game because these tight ends had a lot of injuries this year.
Look at his headshot.
Oh man,
Dallas Goedert.
I'm feeling spicy this morning. Listen, if you told me, hey, you want to make a boring show, you'd be like, let's talk about Goedert, Kelce, and Pitts.
Give me turkey leg. That's what
he is a little Neanderthalic.
Yeah. Wow, nice hair.
This is what we have to talk about a man's physical appearance to make this show compelling. That's what. Look at this shirt.
I mean,
we can talk about his 11 touchdowns.
The whole show started that way, man.
That is true. This is a big show.
I'm famously. Do you care if I start blitzing these a little bit?
Not at all.
Dallas Goedert was
31.
number 4 with a consistency of 4. So you did the job, Dallas.
Yeah, he really did. He was good this season on the back of touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, which was a career high for a player who really wasn't known as a touchdown. Like
his career high had been 5, and that was in year 2, 2019.
He hadn't scored
pre-pandemic
5 touchdowns since pre-pandemic, and then he comes out with 11. It was never expected. It took too long for fantasy managers to actually accept it. And what's ironic is his stretch of great games where it was just like touchdown every single week, weeks 3 through 8, we're like,
you're not believing that.
We're in. And then as soon as you get in, he's back from the bye week. He sucks for a month, and then you're like, we knew it. And then you bench him, and then the next 2 weeks he's good again. It's like it was a terrible process. And going into next year, he'll be playing into his 32nd year. We don't know how this offense is going to run. New offensive coordinator.
Is he a free agent?
I am not
Isn't
going
Goedert
to.
a free agent?
Is he?
Yeah,
yes.
he's a free agent. So Pitts and Goedert,
I
2
doubt
and
he comes
4.
back.
And he had 4 more touchdowns than A.J. Brown, so that's enough to make you pull your hair out like he clearly has. And then Goedert had 7 previous years of evidence-based, like 11 touchdowns. That's just
and also it
very
was
difficult.
For Goedert. He had career lows in yards per route run, yards per reception, yards after catch per reception. On 8 contested catch opportunities, he caught 0 of them. The truth
of Dallas Goedert is he
scored.
got a bunch of touchdowns, and if you played him, you were happy. If you didn't, you weren't in those touchdown weeks, and he's not that great, and he's not going to be great for fantasy next year.
Moving on.
Thank you. He's a new Kyle Rudolph season type of situation.
Oh, yeah.
Remember old Kyle Rudolph? I was going to see what his touchdown
But
peak
Kyle Rudolph was touchdowns a lot.
He never got double digits actually.
Well, double digits versus 4. I'll bet he had a lot of seasons with more than 4.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't. Okay. Okay.
Where's the water bottle?
Yeah,
we have
I
a
got
spray
rid of it.
bottle for this reason.
Got rid of you. Jason hit the spray
I
bottle.
took it home.
So
My children are using it getting ready in the mornings.
here's a good bad one to talk about, but it's much more fun. Tyler
Yes.
Warren is number 5, which is awesome. As a rookie, awesome. Probably if Daniel Jones doesn't go down,
We're talking about him as
Number
up there
2.
with McBride.
I think we're talking about him at number 2.
You're saying next year, would you rather have McBride with his regression? Or, I mean,
not even close. McBride by a million miles.
but my point is, as a rookie coming into his second year, if he finished the entire season as he started, we wouldn't like Loveland right now. The question
is the darling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The question feels like, oh, would you rather have Loveland or Tyler Warren? That would never have been, even if Loveland did what he did, it would never have been a question if Tyler Warren kept going. It just didn't lose Daniel Jones.
No, yeah, I was going to say when the Achilles tore for Daniel Jones, it took Tyler Warren's fantasy production with him.
Yes, it did.
Last 5 weeks of the season, he was irrelevant. Didn't help your fantasy playoffs, so you're exactly right. I mean, the perception of Warren right now is like, darn. You know what I mean? It ended that way. Now, he was really good with Daniel Jones. He was number 8 in consistency, so he wasn't McBride level setting the world on fire, but you saw the ascension as a rookie and you knew where it could be headed. And we thought maybe this would be another season where another rookie tight end could get in a number 1 spot.
So to give you an example of how important that injury was, we look at first half versus second half, but if we just look at the entire season, because Daniel Jones didn't get injured until week 14. If you look at weeks,
Man, that was a long 5 weeks for.
I know it was a long.
Was it really week 14?
Yeah, it felt like it was earlier, but it wasn't. So week 14, he gets injured. Up until that point, weeks 1 through 13, Tyler Warren would have had the consistency score of tight end 4. He was basically as he was a true tight end 1 for fantasy, very good, a difference maker. If you look at from 14 through 18, he would have had the consistency score of 53. He was, 53.
What?
Just absurdly irrelevant. So it was all the quarterback
Just
issue.
a small correction. He tore it in week 13, not 14.
He missed.
His first
the tear was in
week 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the exciting part for fantasy football is you get up and coming tight ends that are 23 years old that obviously have proven that they belong in the league and they can be a primary pass catcher. It's just going to be a quarterback issue for the Colts and Tyler Warren, which is a big deal.
They have to figure it out.
That's why I like Loveland more. It's just because I already know what
Right.
You see the end of the season, I know what I'm getting with Caleb Williams, and Loveland's the best pass catcher there. Now, if Daniel Jones is back, where does Warren go? 3 at the position? 4? I don't know. That's going to be something for us to figure out later this summer.
But we know that since the year 2000, only 4 rookie tight ends have caught 70 receptions or more and go for over 800 yards. It's Jeremy Shockey, Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, and Tyler Warren.
Yeah, it was. He did everything he could possibly do as a rookie to impress us. He just was a victim of some circumstance over the back half.
And still wasn't the best rookie tight end.
Well, We'll take a break. We'll talk about another rookie.
The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And right now on Prize Picks, you can find your community. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends, copy lineups from winners with a single click. You can copy lineups you like or use them as an inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. We have been loving the Prize Picks app all year long on the fantasy footballers. I mean, truly before this year as well, but more or less, it's so simple. It's so connected with fantasy football. We're talking, passing yards, receiving touchdowns, targets, things that we already know and we understand. And honestly, if we know fantasy football, we're pretty good at projecting those things. So make sure you check it out. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code BALLERS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code BALLERS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. This week, Prize Picks has a special max discount for the big game live in the app now. Drake May needs just one passing yard for the max discount to win. Just add another player to your lineup, and if your pick hits, you can cash in. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
From Tyler Warren to number 6 on the list, Harold Fannin Jr., just 21 years old.
The best rookie tight end.
Consistency rank of 6. Consistency rank of 5 in the second half. Fannin was 56% good games, 19% great. It was done in spite of quarterback carousel situation, right? I mean, we just kind of said Warren had to deal with the change, but Fannin had to deal with bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Pro Bowler.
Two Pro Bowl
quarterbacks. That's
actually,
right.
guys. So
because Flacco?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
Flacco started, so
He also had to. He also had to deal
Flacco
with.
started, so
this it says it
the
all.
end. Yeah.
2 Pro Bowl QBs for Harold Fannin Jr.
Look, Harold Fannin Jr. comes in as
This is what you have done with the
Pro
Pro Bowl.
Bowl.
This is how you have shifted the conversation. It's idiocy.
I'd be more entertained watching a computer simulation of the best players playing tackle football than I would be with our current Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, like just
you
do
just
a,
put-
just do a, like a Madden?
If you just did like a digital on-screen simulation that I
Yeah.
could bet on versus the flag football
Oh man.
with Shadur and
Yeah.
random guys. I mean,
So
just throwing it out there. We have the technology. AI could do that in 15 minutes.
Harold Fannin, 21 and a half years old, was drafted in the 3rd round. Wasn't one of these top 10 picks like Loveland,
Tap
like Warren,
10
and
Mexicans.
unlike. Oh, that's good. Shout out to the Spitballers
Yeah.
on Monday. Make sure you tune in for that one. We have a great draft of ice cream mixins. But he got in with bad quarterback play. He also was the backup tight end to start the year. David Njoku was there, and David Njoku got injured in week 14, missed weeks 15 through 18. I think he's an avoided contract year for this upcoming season. So coming to next year, you're trying to build this franchise. You're trying to build the Browns. What pieces do I have? Oh, I got Myles Garrett. Great. I don't have a quarterback. I have Harold Fannin. This is a key piece. What are you telling me? You're like, okay, they'll say to themselves, okay, we're paying a lot for Jerry Jeudy. That's what they're going to say. They're not going to say, oh, good, we could build around Jerry Jeudy. They're going to build around Harold Fannin. The dude is awesome.
No, Fannin's incredible. Now you're going to have question marks around, is it Deshaun Watson at some point? Is it Shedeur Sanders? You got a new head coach in Todd Monken who we'll see. It's been a long time waiting for him to be a head coach, and he finally got the big job everyone wants, the Browns job. But Fannin was incredible. Fannin is an amazing athlete. He's versatile. He can catch short area targets. He can go compete for contested catches.
He makes people miss.
He is.
Yeah.
He is
shifty, like a
so
21-year-old.
Special. He can outrun guys duck-footed. I mean, that's incredible.
14 forced missed tackles. That was second most at the position.
So, yeah, Fannin is going to be a really interesting – this is where the impossible to answer Loveland, Fannin, Warren dynasty question is
It is impossible. That's why if I had a Warren or a Loveland, they are way more valued than Fannin.
Where you would
in
go
Dynasty
get
League.
Fannin plus?
Exactly right.
No, that's not a bad
I would go
move.
get Fannin
I would
and a
not do
pick.
that.
I don't have a problem with that,
Yeah,
actually.
I think Fannin is as good, or to me, he is in the exact same tier as those other two guys as players. That's how I see it.
Which that's fine.
If you
But
told me to bet
Jason,
on...
you are the one on this show. Is like, it's the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
It's the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns will always Browns.
that's
And
100%
in
true.
spite
But
of
that's
that-
talking about wins and losses. That's not talking about whether or not they'll have fantasy production from a player.
But
here or
wins
there.
and losses, I mean, it's correlated to your quarterback and screwing up decisions. That one, the three of those guys, it's easily Loveland for me because of stability of quarterback and head coach.
And you don't have to, to Mike's point, you don't have to watch the Browns if you don't draft any of their players.
That is the hardest part of having.
I feel like
Harold
with Fannin, who's great, he'll be a tight end one.
We don't
We'll
even
go
get,
that way.
We don't even get to talk about the real number 2 tight end yet for a while.
Right.
That's the season we're having.
Well, I think with Harold Fannin, there's going to be a lot of chasing the dragon as the Cleveland Browns
can-
I'll
continue to
chase.
screw
I'll chase
up.
the dragon.
We
at
can
the
blitz
right
a
at the
lot.
right point.
We can blitz a lot of these guys that are going to be
Yeah, let's
pretty
do it.
irrelevant
You ready?
for the draft next year.
I'm going to say the name.
Okay,
Then you say some stuff about the player,
Okay.
and then we don't talk about him again.
that sounds good. I'll
All
take
right.
the first one.
You take the first one. Hunter Henry, 7th overall, consistency of 14. Go.
He is a very good veteran tight end for the Patriots. For fantasy football, he will have games with touchdowns next year.
Mike, number 8 is Jake Ferguson. Consistency of 9. Really dropped off in the second half. 16th inconsistency in the second half of the season, including a murderous playoff run for fantasy managers. 12% great, 53% good, 29% bust. Go.
I will say Ferguson recently signed a 4-year extension, and it all comes down to what happens with George Pickens.
Mhm.
If it's CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on this roster, then Ferguson's going to be the guy that you're just waiting on. Like he's like an insurance running back, almost, or insurance tight end, I guess. If one of those guys misses time, like week 2 through 7, tight end 4, 4, 5, 2, 10, 4,
Yeah.
and then CeeDee Lamb comes back.
Yeah, I was going to say CeeDee Lamb was gone for weeks 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yeah, if he's the second option
can
for
get
this
it done.
offense, he's awesome. If he's the third option for this offense,
There's between Lamb and Pickens, there's not enough to go around. But George Pickens will likely be franchised, but will he be franchise traded? Or so there's a lot to play out for that.
Brock Bowers comes in at 9, consistency of 5.
There we go.
We know who Brock Bowers is. He's a dude that missed a ton of games this year.
got banged up.
Yeah, he missed 5 total games, 3 at a crucial part of the beginning of the season. Then he was pretty dominant. Then they said we would like the first pick, and so he didn't play anymore.
Remember, he got banged up early before he
It
left.
was in week 1.
Yes. So week 1, he was the tight end 1. He was the dog. He was Brock Bowers. We're like, oh, man, everyone who picked him first
They won that
They
game
were
against
right.
New England, by the way.
beat New England
And they have the number
Patriots.
1 pick.
That is super funny. Well, that's because they had a healthy Brock Bowers in part. And again, 15.8 fantasy points in half PPR was awesome. Got hurt. The next 3 weeks, played through it poorly, kind of stunk. Wasn't even a tight end 1, and we know how easy it is to be a tight end 1.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about
He's got to be top 6.
I'm actually talking tight end 2 then. He wasn't even a tight end 2 for those next 3 weeks. Then they rest him. They keep him out until the bye week. Comes back, and he's that dude again. So to me, Brock Bowers, if he's drafted significantly behind Trey McBride, that's the better value next year.
Define
It'll be
significant. It'll be
Around. If I can say, because when you're at the top of the
it'll
draft.
be Mendoza, and obviously in Arizona we don't know. So
Yeah.
So if it's McBride Bowers, which I think we would all agree it is, at the top of the tight end list,
Mhm.
regardless of round, just in order, just right
Sure.
now here in the middle of or the beginning of February. Are the other 3 rookie guys from this year the next 3 names?
They very well might
Is it
be
whatever
with Kittle.
order of Loveland?
I would say it's
Loveland, Warren.
It's probably Loveland, Warren. The Warren quarterback situation, it's a big problem. But then it's like
I mean, beyond
if
those
Tucker
names,
Kraft,
Yeah, Tucker Kraft.
Yeah,
is
Tucker
that's a
Kraft
big
is
one.
ready
That's a big
because
one.
his ACL tear was in week 9.
Yeah,
so
that's a big one.
It's possible that he's back. If Tucker Kraft is like the news is all, no, he's in training camp. He will be good to go. I would take Kraft before I take Fannin.
Kittle was 13. I'm just going to talk about a couple other names. Kittle was 13, third in consistency, second in the second half.
So good.
But now it's an Achilles injury, and despite being under contract for 4 more years, you're going to see next year mostly deleted. And then you may see another year. Like, Kittle might be able to come back and contribute in a meaningful way for the 49ers. The question will be how they've built that team by the time he's back. Like, part of his greatness this year was an absence of other pass-catching options. Pearsall banged up all year long. You didn't have Ayuk. So you compound that with the injury, and you say, hey, this team's going to have to add an offensive group of guys for 2 years maybe before Kittle's a contributor.
Man, this sucks.
So it just sucks.
It does.
Jordan, I don't think anyone is more beloved than George Kittle. Just as he's like, we always get asked the question, and I don't think we ever answer it properly, of like, who would you just want to hang out with from the NFL?
You're
it
right.
should always be George Kittle.
George Kittle.
Like,
should be
he's awesome.
You could just be able to shoot from the hip that answer.
Yeah, exactly.
George Kittle, who
yeah.
I mean, he's selling pizzas, riding on a deer.
He's golfing with that torn Achilles.
Did
you see this?
I did not.
He's on a golf cart,
yes.
and he's got one of the clubs that has the auto-firing piston inside the end of it, and he's out there. I mean,
if he's back, let's say week 1. Let's say they get him back week 1.
Wait, what?
Let's say if he's ready by if
Wait, who?
George Kittle. He rehabs hard in the offseason program.
For this week 1 or the next year?
Next year. Well, this coming year.
2026.
2026. If they say, we think he'll make it because he's got that dog in him, are you willing to draft him? And at what draft cost?
Late round.
Late, sure.
But
But I'll probably be drafting 2 tight ends.
Yeah, so.
I feel like that is fairy tale level.
Yeah, it is.
Tucker Kraft, let's not forget Tucker Kraft. This is part of the truth episode.
That's a dog.
He was the number 2 most consistent tight end in fantasy football this year. It was a full-on breakout campaign. You know, you talk about the Packers, all the injuries they had. It's easily arguable that they lost their best offensive weapon and their best defensive player, and still, made the playoffs despite missing those guys. Everybody has injuries. I'm not, saying anything you don't know. It's just Kraft was the difference maker for the offense. He's what made Jordan Love more viable on a week-to-week basis. You needed him in the mix. He had his breakout 32-point week 8, and then he goes down the next week. So right after the kind of crown gets put on his head as the next great tight end, the ACL gets torn in the world. It was like it was to me like the Scottaboo injury.
It felt
very
like
similar.
It's an emotionally devastating one because he's fun.
George Kittle was the tight end 3 on a points per game at 12.1 fantasy points per game. We just espoused how awesome he was. 12.7 points per game for Tucker Kraft. He was even better, and this is an injury that more players come back from versus the Achilles for Kittle. He has more time. It happened earlier in the season. Tucker Kraft will be in consideration mixed in with those 2025 rookie tight ends.
And
you'll just have to decide about the ACL and what progress looks like.
And the Packers have to make themselves a decision as well. Or Romeo Doubs, who, like, opinions on him are all over, but like he's solid. We'll just say Romeo Doubs is a solid.
He's an NFL wide receiver.
Romeo Doubs
he plays in the National Football League.
Is solid and
with a giant helmet.
He's not liquid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But he's a free agent. So it's like the Packers will have to decide, do they compete money-wise to bring him back, or do they, like, where else do they cover those targets?
Was
that for the liquid?
That was delayed.
That was really late.
Dobbs is just just bad enough.
You can't do that.
He's just good enough to want to bring him back to Green Bay, and he's just bad enough to not get a big enough contract elsewhere. He's the perfect guy to re-sign.
Romeo Doubs he'll get money this year.
We got to do this.
Fantasy Faceoff, presented by Prize Picks.
I don't like how eager the Falcon is over there to get me whatever shame I'm about to
He's just doing his
out.
job.
Yeah.
What?
Wheel of Shame.
We're spinning the wheel.
Okay, it's already spinning. It's spinning. It's Cheesehead. It's Bob
Bing.
the Loser. Bob the Loser.
Bob the Loser.
Yeah, he's not a builder. He's a loser.
Bob the Builder.
What?
has
This one
an
of Jeremy's
L.
shirts?
That is the exact same color.
You
go
should put
go to the
the-
Deucer's cam on.
Is it-
That is literally Did you do this on purpose, Jeremy?
Well,
I did find it
here, let me-
ironic as he talked about the color of my shirt.
I suck at fantasy. Yeah, I know.
Oh, it says I suck at
That's
fantasy
Yeah.
true. It's
football.
facts.
It is a fact.
Look at this loser.
Dude, I could get some work
You
done.
need those goggles on before
No,
the hard hat.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. Order of operations matter. Process over results. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
looking good.
Look
And
at
don't
this
forget
guy.
your toolbox. You're going
Yeah, no,
to,
you got to build.
yeah,
You got
Do
some
I need
build.
to go inside the toolbox?
I would if I were you. I don't know what's in there though.
probably tools, plastic tools.
I got some. This is the dumbest thing you guys have ever done.
Just a little baby.
All right,
Why
let's
don't you build a lineup for us?
let's drill down here. My quarterback is going to be Drake May, and I'm going. This is my Green Goblin. I'm going more than 0.5 passing touchdowns.
Okay. I'm going Drake May. Oh, I've got two lineups. One is more than 0.5 passing yards.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I
Well,
mean,
dude,
bonus.
people
we-
need
we
to know
said
that
we
that's
aren't allowed
out there.
to do
We're
that.
not doing that. My actual Drake May is less than 220 and a half passing yards. I know he was able to get in a full practice. He's saying the shoulder's not an issue, but I think this could be a defensive game. However, on the platform right now on Prize Picks, you can basically get. Oh no, there's a headlight.
What are you? You got a work light
There-
on that hat.
There is
I got to put my hat down.
There is a gimme for the Super Bowl of Drake May over half a passing yard. So you
Yeah,
can basically
nice
get a
little
free
promo.
square.
I'm looking through my lineup, guys, realizing
You don't have a quarterback?
I don't have a Green Goblin.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Whoops.
riding a little dirty here. Quarterback, though, I do have Sam Darnold. His projection's 229.5 passing yards. I'm going more. Sammy D. We're gonna believe.
Okay. Super Bowl MVP?
I mean, if he hits his projection,
Yeah.
unless Ken Walker rips off
Oh,
250-yard tutties.
Is it back to me?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep building this lineup. You heard me talk about it last week. The Christian Gonzalez JSN matchup is going to be one of the more interesting ones for the Super Bowl. I'm going to take Cooper Kupp making his contributions as I blast Mike with my work light here. 32.5 receiving yards. I'm taking the more. You need me to turn this off, Mike?
You're doing
Please.
that as essentially you think JSN will have a difficult time with Christian Gonzalez.
I just think that there will be opportunities for other receivers, and Kupp has been stepping up in recent weeks anyways.
Mhm.
So 32.5 seems like something you can get.
Well, we had a similar
more yards.
thought process. I have JSN 91.5 receiving yards. I'm going less
Oh,
with the Christian Gonzalez coverage.
okay. I have Mr. Stephon Diggs. His projection is at 4.5. Realizing I should have taken the Green Goblin at 3.5. But here we are. It's too late. 4.5 receptions. I'm taking the more
For who was
for
that?
Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go
You're measuring.
A.J. Barner, 22
Hey,
and
measure
a half
twice, cut once.
receiving yards. I'm taking less. A.J. Barner's not going to be
Dude,
needed.
your measuring tape got you the.
Yeah, got me the answer.
Okay.
Let me just wrap this up.
Nice. I'm gonna go.
It doesn't even
it's
have
got
a
crank.
What
That's funny. We went to tight end. My tight end is Hunter Henry.
Oh,
His
too.
projection is 5 receiving targets.
oh.
And I'm going less than that.
All right.
I think that line was interesting that it wasn't a half. I don't see him getting to 6. He hasn't got to 6 in a long time.
I went with Hunter Henry, but we're going Band-Aid. 7.5 yards on first reception.
Ooh,
We're going
fun.
less.
Whoa.
Whoa. What?
Out
That comes
here
with a
weapons.
utility knife? And a saw?
Well, why don't
All
you
right.
saw out your running back. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The people hated that one.
Yeah. I did too. I stand with the people.
You guys
Hate
know
that guy.
You guys know how I'm going to roll. You probably see what I saw.
What?
Ramondre Stevenson, 50.5 rushing yards. I'm taking the more.
Whoa.
He is also, for those out there that care, he would be my first touchdown pick.
Okay.
Okay.
I will say
These are fogging up.
you forgot what year it is. Because Ramondre is not Mike's dude.
Right.
Travion is Mike's dude. And the other Mike's dude to finish out Mike's year at the Super Bowl is Ken Bone Walker.
Who is in my lineup?
I have him receiving targets, 3.5. More than that. With Charbonne out, he's going to have at least 4 targets.
As Andy goes through the construction, Kenneth Walker, his projections at 74.5 rushing yards. I thought that's a little bit too high for how much.
Wait, are you betting against yourself?
I'm just in rushing yards.
Oh my goodness.
Just in rushing yards. Less than 74.5 rushing yards.
I feel like you guys are getting punished by me. All right. It's going to be fun this weekend. That was Fantasy Faceoff presented by Prize Picks. Check out special max discounts for the big game, like Drake May needing 1 passing yard to win. Use code footballers and get $50
I think he can do it.
in lineups when you play $5. Al, we are twins.
That's right.
Dressing alike today. And enjoy the weekend, everybody. Have a good time.
Enjoy the game.
Stay safe.
Ultimate Draft Kit Sunday. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.